We have had some insane changes since my last FNCS Global Championship vid a couple days ago, and with some more huge team changes and drama, and also a lot of drop spot changes, I think it's time I make another video. And in this video, I'm going to go over all the new duos that will be playing at LAN, and also talk about how an FNCS winner might not be able to play the LAN as well, and also cover the main drop spot changes we have seen since my last video. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel with notifications on to always be caught up on everything happening within competitive, as I'm going to keep posting these videos just like this one so you are up to date on everything for globals, as it's been a pretty hectic couple of days, and I'm going to try to clear up any confusion you might have and get you fully caught up on what's happening up to this point. And before I get into the duo changes, here's the prize pool breakdown for globals this year and the $2 million total prize pool. And this year, it will be just $200,000 for winning the FNCS Global Championship, where last year it was $500,000 each for winning the FNCS Global Championship. And of course, we are going to see the prize money for first decrease as the prize pool was cut in half for this year. So this is a pretty basic change, but overall, this is the prize pool. Everything you see in this picture is going to be split. So first place will get 200,000 and so on. Second will get 150,000 and so on, all the way down to 50th place. But overall, let me know your thoughts down below on the prize pool. Let me know what you think. Some people on Twitter were saying they thought the prize pool was going to be like $3 million, but it's been $2 million pretty much the entire year. And some people were surprised by that. But it was also announced yesterday that the 2-day 1.5 times format will be back, and it will be on LAN. So we're going to have the day 1 65 points per win, 4 points per elim, and then day 2 100 points per win and 6 points per elim format on the big stage. And we've been having this format all year in every single FNCS Grand Finals. So this doesn't really surprise me at all, and I think this is going to benefit a lot of teams at the FNCS Global Championship, because we know how good some of these teams are on day 2, kind of like Acorn and Cold. They've been absolutely insane on day 2 throughout the whole year, and other teams like that are really good at getting elims and also maybe wins as well on day 2. So that's really going to benefit those teams during LAN. But now let's get into the big beefy part of this video, all of the duo drama and the players that will not be attending the FNCS Global Championship as of now, and potential players that might not be playing as well. And so far, we have Turtle, the EU player, who will not be playing for personal reasons. And then after that, as you can see by reading this, we have a lot of visa issues to talk about. Arrow, the Middle East player, will not be playing LAN because of visa issues. Milo, the Middle East player, will not be playing because of visa issues. Knight, the Brazil player, will not be playing because of visa issues. And then we have the FNCS winner of Chapter 5 Season 2, Vanya, who might not be playing because of visa issues as well. He has a visa interview on August 23rd to pretty much see if he will be playing LAN or not, and that will be tomorrow, of course. And then another EU player, Ping, also has the same thing. He has an interview tomorrow, the 23rd, to see if he might be playing LAN as well. But I have heard Ping does have another interview on the 28th, and that is pretty much his last chance if he gets turned down tomorrow. And that's not where the LAN changes end either. We also have Agers and Rise somehow playing LAN, as Agers was supposed to play with Pixo after filling for Milo, who had visa issues, and Rise was supposed to play with Wixie after filling for Arrow, who had visa issues. But today, Pixo's account was deactivated by Fortnite, and now Agers and Rise will somehow be playing with each other at the LAN, and Wixie will now need to find another backup player to play LAN with. And if you're wondering how Agers and Rise can even play together, since Agers was chosen as the backup player for Pixo, and Pixo's account is now deactivated, it is essentially Agers' team, and he gets to pick up a backup as well. And Rise and Wixie must have not been a confirmed duo yet, so he basically got to pick Rise as his duo, and now Wixie will find another duo to play with. And maybe if Pixo's account gets reactivated, he can maybe play with Wixie, or we're gonna have to see what happens there. But this is a pretty crazy situation, because this essentially wipes out a Middle East team from LAN, and this team is now just an honorary NA team at LAN, as Agers and Rise are both NA players, of course. So it sucks to see this happening to Middle East. One of their teams isn't even playing anymore, and then another one of their teams is gonna have to have a fill. So Middle East is literally only gonna have 2 teams at LAN that actually are double Middle East players. And these duo changes have created a lot of movement on the drop map so far. And this is the overall look at the drop map as of right now. And now I just want to go over a couple of the big changes we've had, then I'll go over the total drop map at the end. But as of right now, Bugha and Aviv are uncontested at the LAN, as Wixie and Arrow were going to be conning Bugha, but Wixie did move down to the middle of the map when he was going to play with Rise, and he's not playing with Rise anymore. So I'm not going to lie, I kind of see Wixie going back and contesting Bugha when he gets a different teammate. And that's also, of course, where Rise and Agers are going to land, because that's where they landed for FNCS last season. But at this very moment, Bugha is unconned, but I do see Wixie going back to contest him once he gets a different backup to play with. Then also another huge change we have, Kanata and Cooper are now uncontested at the Nitrodrome, as Chap and Teeny have left to go to Reckless Railways and are going to be either fighting or splitting with Vico and Flixie. And I do believe Flixie and Chap are pretty good friends, as they both speak German, and I believe they both hang out in calls a lot. So I would believe they are just going to be splitting this POI. Maybe they do end up fighting, but this is probably just going to be another Epic Will Muzz re-ritual situation, where they're most likely just going to be splitting. So I really do think this helps Kanata and Cooper's chances at being one of the contenders to maybe win the LAN. And I also don't necessarily think this hurts Vico and Flixie or Chap and Teeny. If they do split the POI, they could both do very well, just like I think Epic Will Muzz, Re, and Ritual should do very well. So I think this is a pretty similar situation at the Reckless Railways. And then we also have Dukes and Sphinx and Queasy and Thomas HD, both uncontested at LAN as of now, as Shadow and Virgo went up north and are now landing near Bugha. And then Yanis and Pixie are now contesting Bobby and Larkpex at the rig, as they just didn't really want to have a grief off spawn with Dukes and Sphinx, as Brawlers Battlegrounds is kind of a weird 50-50 spot, as I mentioned in my last video, of course. And Yanis and Pixie said they want a 50-50 somewhere, so they are going to go land on Bobby and Larkpex, which is more of a 50-50 drop, which makes total sense to me. I understand why they did this, and I think it's a pretty good change for them. And lastly, another big change we have to the drop map kind of ties into the first thing I talk about with Bugha and Aviv being uncon. Malabuka and Murstache are now contesting Alex and Worthy at Restored Reels. And this is a pretty big off-spawn. Malabuka and Murstache and Alex and Worthy, two of the best teams on their respective regions. I think this is going to be a pretty good fight, and the Restored Reels is a pretty weird one to fight at. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. Maybe Alex and Worthy leave and contest something else, or they're just going to stay at the drop spot they landed last season on an A and just battle it out with Malabuka and Murstache. But in the end, this is another factor that contributes to Bugha being uncontested at the Doom's Courtyard. And then taking a look at the overall drop map, a lot of the drops still are the same, like Clicks and Vino being uncontested, the Raft being triple contested with Trashy, Swizzy, and Peterbot, and then a lot of the other drop spots are pretty much the same as my last video. And overall, there's been lots of movement happening on the drop map, and if you want to see me go over some of the other teams I didn't really cover in this video because their situations remain the same, make sure to check out my last video about the FNCS Global Championship, which I will have in the end screen of this video. There's going to continue to be duo news and drop changes, so once again, make sure to subscribe and have noties on to be caught up on what's turning out to be a very insane global championship already. And also make sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, so more people can be caught up on everything happening for the huge FNCS LAN. That's going to do it for me in this video, covering the duo changes and potential players that might miss the LAN, and also going over some of the drop changes as well. I'm going to keep dropping videos just like this, so stay tuned for more. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you next time.